Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, Nature with Valence, where we explore more about the tropical biodiversity and ecosystems of Africa. And in this video, we are going to look at the Lake Albert, which is found in East Africa between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. This is not only about the fisheries, but also the biodiversity hotspot, since the Albertine region has got multiple biodiversity due to natural resources within the region. Lake Albert is shared by these two countries in the proportion of 44% to Democratic Republic of Congo and 56% to Uganda. And this lake is surrounded by natural resources such as Makshoni Falls National Park, Budongo Forest, and Semiriki National Reserve, hence making Lake Albert region a biodiversity hotspot for many species, which we are going to talk about in this video. When we look at the fisheries, Lake Albert is one of the major fisheries resources in Uganda due to the support of multi-species fisheries, since the lake is dominated by the same commercial fish species as we saw in the last video on Lake Victoria, and these are Nile perch, or call it Let's niloticus, the Nile tilapia, and small pelagic species. But unlike Lake Victoria, Lake Albert's small pelagic species are mainly of two types. The first one is locally known as Mozili, and the second one is Lagog. And these are also silver-like species, like Mokene of Lake Victoria. And these species, they support the majority of fishing-dependent communities within the area, hence making the small pelagic fishery one of the leading activities on Lake Albert. Also, we can talk about the unique fish species which are only found in Lake Albert, and the prominent one is tigerfish, which is scientifically known as Hydrocynus fossicali. Also, in the perspective of fisheries management, Lake Albert being a shared resource between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo, it has attracted many resource users such as fishers, traders, and even boat owners, since the lake accommodates multiple communities on the two sides. The wildlife point of view, Lake Albert is also interesting since its strategic location in this region to have a variety of animal species and birds, and the notable ones which we can talk about include the hippos within the Makshoni Falls and also within the Lake Albert, and also the national park is a home for most of African animal species such as elephants, giraffes, buffaloes, and different species of African monkeys. So if you get a chance to visit Lake Albert region, it's not only about fisheries, but it is a mixture of both terrestrial and aquatic species. As other natural resources in Uganda or in the world generally, Lake Albert is experiencing some challenges, and these challenges threaten both the natural biodiversity and the resource users. Among the notable challenges which we can highlight, we can talk about wildlife-human conflict, whereby since the lake is part of the national park, there is a tendency of conflicts between the resource users, such as fishers and fish traders, and the wildlife within these national parks. For instance, some people who do cultivate or grow crops around Lake Albert region, they tend to be affected by the elephants and buffaloes which escape from the Makshoni Falls National Park and they attack the garden. So another example which we can talk about is the crocodiles do attack people who access the lakes, such as uh, fishers and even local people who may go to the lake just to get water for domestic use. The wildlife authorities have tried to come in to see how uh, the interaction of humans and wildlife can be managed. But also, another point which we can talk about today is the point of climate change. This has been evidenced by the continuous flooding of Lake Albert, which has caused displacement of people along the shore. Another point which we can talk about is the point of land use within the Albert region, and the main land use right now can talk about the oil development. Or since petroleum is extracted within the water body and also outside, there is a lot of human activity. Lake Albert region serves beyond fisheries. It goes to livelihood and also the area development. Thanks so much for watching this video and following this channel. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, please follow this channel so that you can get more updates on the management, conservation of the natural resources, especially the tropical biodiversity of Africa. Thanks so much. We meet again in the next video where we are going to be talking about Lake Choga, which is an interesting inland fisheries resource also in Uganda. Thank you.